You already know what time it is. It's that official time. Where we take this worldwide. Let's go. Listen. So now it's time to turn it up. Surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape, definitely bringing you the pancakes. It's a mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really couldn't devour him. And from that point then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change lanes. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Powerslam Show. Let's go! Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam Show. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Powerslam Show. Turn it up.
$500. 17 episodes of the Pancakes and Powerslam Show. Oh my goodness. Wow. 517, ladies. 517 episodes of the Pancakes and Powerslams Show, baby. We're live and live in color, getting funky like a monkey if you will, baby. Yeah. 517. 517, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. What's going on? Let's get right into the PNP Nation. Ricky is asking, ask Doc, and again, those are the ones that comes up that finds me the most. Ask Doc. Hashtag ask Doc. How many times have you been? How many times have you interviewed Kennedy now, man? Probably. I've done him and Daivari a couple times. I've done him like 5 alone, maybe 6 alone, and him and Daivari like twice, I think. Like probably between 8 and 10 times now. Yeah, a lot. Ricky's also asking, ask Doc, what do you think of Elimination Chamber? Elimination Chamber, as Eric Bischoff would say. Eric Bischoff would say. The Elimination Chamber. I thought Reigns destroying Goldberg in the F5 off the pod was great. What do I think of the Chamber? I give the Chamber a... I'll say C plus, B minus with a curve. All for Bianca winning the Chamber. I've said it before on previous shows and all other shows. WWE isn't doing many things right. One of the things they are doing right is pushing Bianca Belair and having her rack up a bunch of wins. That's how you win. That's how you look dominant. This 50-50 crap is just the worst thing known to man when it comes to television, when it comes to this type of excitement. That's like, okay, this week Batman's going to lose to the Joker. This week he's going to beat the Joker. The next week he's going to lose against the Joker. And this week he's going to beat the Joker. Next week, Batman and Robin are going to lose against the Joker and Two-Face. The following week, Batman and Robin are going to beat the Joker and Two-Face. That's not a superhero. That's just someone who wins and loses sometimes. That's not a superhero. You're not a superhero. If you lose just as many times as you win. You have some moments and you have times where it seems like you're about to lose, but you come back, you press forward, and you win at the end, ladies and gentlemen. There's a big story that leads to you winning at the end. The good guys always win. Even if there's times where it seems like the bad guys winning, getting the comeuppance and beat you down, you're going to come back up and you're going to beat that bad guy. That's a comic book story arc. And wrestling is a comic book come to life. That's not how you write comic books. The way that they write pro wrestling, specifically in WWE, the way that they write WWE does not mirror the way that they write comic books. But for some reason, we're supposed to think the characters are superheroes. They're characters. They're fake names. They're gimmicks. They're characters. They're not. There's not their real names a lot. Roman Reigns is not his real name. His name is Joe Anoa'i. His name is not Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns is a character that's supposed to be portrayed as a big villain or a hero. But for some reason, he's being portrayed. Actually, Roman Reigns is finally, they're actually doing really well with him. But someone like a Big E, for instance, he's supposed to be a powerhouse, a powerhouse of positivity. Okay. He's supposed to be like a muscular Fat Albert. All right. So not Fat Albert, but like muscular Albert, right? Jovial, fun to be around, larger than life because he has so much charisma. All right. And like or from a superhero standpoint, like the Green Lantern, there's been times that the Green Lantern's been portrayed as a black person, as a black male. The Green Lantern just don't go around losing all the time. That wouldn't make him a superhero. That wouldn't be someone who I want to mirror myself by being the Green Goblin who loses all the time. No, that's not a superhero. You're not building characters. You're making characters look like lame-os. They're not being superheroes. I went off on a tangent there, talking about Elimination Chamber. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the people who are in the Elimination Chamber, they got ragdolled by Brock Lesnar. All right? And my point was Bianca Belair, finally they're making her look like a hero, a superhero that people can emulate. And finally, they're doing that. And so, yeah, that's really the only thing they got right about Elimination Chamber. Lita looked good, but she was going to lose, though. So at the end of the day, like, what did it really mean if Lita's just going to lose? I think Lita, and I talked about this on another show, Legion of Raw. I would be totally fine if Lita won the Women's Championship at SummerSlam against Charlotte Flair. I'd be totally fine with that. Because the purpose of these legends coming back, just to put people over, it just kills the impact of legends coming back. You can't just bring legends back anymore because you know that they're going to lose. You know they're going to lose. So Goldberg coming back means nothing. I mean, Austin's probably going to win if he goes against Kevin Owens. He better win. He better. But, I mean, keep bringing Goldberg back to back to back. It doesn't mean anything anymore. So, not a big fan. Thoughts on Taker go to the Hall of Fame? Yeah, I've shared it a lot over the past couple days. Big fan of it. I think Taker should be the only person inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And they should have many people, they should have pockets of people who speak for him in different eras. Like the first era was Ted DiBiase, introduced him. Brother Love managed him for a little while. Before Paul Bearer. And you had Jake Roberts, WrestleMania, so you can have like Ted DiBiase, Bruce Pritchard, and Jake Roberts be the first, three. And then the 94, 5, 6 era, you can have like Sid, Kevin Nash, people like that who he went against at WrestleMania. Started to be Kane, in 97. So that's another era. And then toward like the 2000s, you have like Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon, Corporate Ministry of Darkness. Foley was really big at that time too, 97, 98, 99. So, the McMahons and Foley would be cool at that time. And then the early 2000s, that's still like Austin era, Kane still. And so you have like, Triple H, And then the mid 2000s, you can do something to, Edge, Batista, Cena. Although he had some feuds with Cena like toward the beginning of Cena's career, but him and Cena really didn't cross paths much throughout Cena's career until their match at WrestleMania. But Shawn Michaels toward the end of his career and toward the middle of his career too, like the 90s, mid to late 90s. The latter part of his career, though, you have like AJ Styles was his last WrestleMania match. Roman Reigns, was the one who beat him in Orlando. Even like someone who he went against within like the 2010s. Someone like I'm trying to figure out someone who's still there because I know he feuded with Punk, and Punk is in AEW. But if you like, they'll be the three. You can do like Edge, Batista, and Cena, and then the latter three would be AJ, Roman Reigns, and like trying to figure out who else. Lesnar. There you go, Lesnar, Brock Lesnar. So there's like pockets of people you can like section off with like three apiece. Do it. Elvis is asking, why are there still the Women's Battle Royal and the Andre Battle Royal when the winner doesn't get anything? Good question, Elvis. They get a big trophy, but so what? I said this before. I think the winner of the Women's Battle Royal and the Men's Battle Royal should get a title shot on the following Raw. The Raw after WrestleMania is kind of its own pay-per-view in and of itself a lot of times. And I think the winners of the Battle Royals should get a title shot the following Raw. If you're drafted to SmackDown, you get a title shot on the following SmackDown. Yes, indeed. Because it means something. Just think about if Roman Reigns retained the championship, which he should at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes comes out, debuts on WrestleMania, wins the Battle Royal, and then you have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship on the following SmackDown. A returning Cody Rhodes, who won the Andre Battle Royal against Roman Reigns, would be a really, really good match to kick off the kind of the new year of pro wrestling. WWE. WWE's from the Raw after Mania to Mania every year. So the new year basically starts that Raw after Mania or the SmackDown after Mania, depending on where you're drafted to. It would make perfect sense for Cody to win the Men's Battle Royal and then go against. There you go. Go against Roman Reigns. And Bayley comes back and wins the Women's Battle Royal. Although I'd be fine if Naomi did, but she already did, so I understand. But I wouldn't have Naomi in it though. I think she should have a gimmick match versus Sonya Deville and beat her. So Bayley comes back, win the Women's Battle Royal. I think Charlotte should retain the title against Ronda Rousey, but it's okay if you have Ronda Rousey beat Charlotte although Charlotte should retain the title unless you have Charlotte lose to Ronda Rousey at Mania and then regain it like in a couple months or so. But even if you want Bayley to come back as a heel, you can do a heel Bayley versus a babyface Ronda Rousey on the following SmackDown. There you go. There's your two big title matches for the SmackDown after Mania. Ronda Rousey versus Bayley, and then Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. There you go. James is asking, how are you feeling? I heard about the accident. Also, what would you think if we inducted The Undertaker and Woman, aka announcement, wanted this year's Hall of Fame? I would love it. Thank you for asking, James. I'm super sore. For those who don't know, I got into a car accident. Well, someone rear-ended me while I was at a stop sign is what happened. So, yeah, that was very unfortunate that happened. You don't even feel safe at a stop sign anymore, ladies and gentlemen. So, had a major whiplash, super sore, groggy. Today was really tough. Doing therapy, I had to tell a couple of my clients, like, look, please excuse me. I'm not feeling it. I felt so groggy and loopy. Oh man, it was just like I felt so groggy, and loopy and sore. Felt super sore. So yeah, been going through. I'm giving me a lot of rest today, prayerfully, and it's total my plan to get some rest and continue to go through the process. Whatever appointments I need to make, if I need to, check and see if I got a concussion, if I need to, I went to emergency room the day of and just was having migraine like stuff, and they had to med me up, and it was uncomfortable. So still soreness, and plus me already having back problems. I had to take the day off of work, so I missed out on lots of money there. So yeah, it hasn't been pleasant. It hasn't been pleasant. Woman, I think woman should go next year's. I'm pretty lock solid. I'm pretty rock solid, locked in on Taker should be the only person who's inducted in the Hall of Fame this year. I think woman would be. I'd be all for woman going in, but next year. Who'd Robert's asked? Robert, are you new? Are you new, Robert? We welcome our newbies. We welcome our newbies with open arms and big applause. So let me know if you're new, Robert. Who do you think will face Brock at MSG? Good question, Robert. I think if it's not Bobby Lashley, I think we'll probably get Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins versus Brock would be probably a suitable replacement for MSG. Regarding the question, Ricky says Austin should wrestle. It's in Texas. He's the second biggest draw ever. He's a legend. This will be a huge match for Owens, so why not? That's not a terrible way to look at it, but you have to also look at it from a standpoint of legacy. All right, could this potentially? There's a I nerd out when it comes to psychology. I'm a doctor in psychology. All right, there's so many things. Just everything really, when it comes to decision making, it revolves around psychology. There's a psychological phenomenon called the recency bias. All right, so that means that people only, or mainly, or mostly akin something or somebody with the most recent thing that was done. All right, that's the reason why. I mean, Shawn Michaels is a WWE Hall of Famer, multiple time WWE Hall of Famer, one of the greatest of all time. All right, We know Shawn Michaels for his career, yes, but at the same time, he has tarnished his legacy because no one can't, like, it's hard to get out of your head bald Shawn Michaels, Saudi Arabia, bunch of botches, terrible match with DX against the Brothers of Destruction. No matter how much you want to unring the bell, you can't unring the bell. Okay. Now, does that totally, describe, or does that shroud Michaels' legacy? Absolutely not. But that will always be a talking point in many people's conversations when it comes to Shawn Michaels because of recency bias. So, with Austin is concerned, he's been gone 19 years. Is it worth coming back? Yes, if the story was right, but no with WWE's current booking. It would just be very blah. Like, I'm a huge Goldberg fan. Like, I was a Goldberg mark, and to a lot of degree still am. All right. But Goldberg's recent appearances in WWE, just not good. Not good, man. I mean, when he first came back in 2016, I believe it was, the minute and a half, a little less than a minute and a half surprise against Brock Lesnar, that was amazing. That was an incredible way to bring him back. Then he won the title. He beat Kevin Owens at Fastlane. Then he goes against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the title. Now, from a star power standpoint, that angle actually wasn't that bad, but it actually caused Owens and Jericho to, like, get the boot, because I heard that Jericho was supposed to be the one that won the title, that pushed him aside, that pushed Owens aside because it wasn't able to keep the title till Mania. So that went to the well, just the pop of WrestleMania rating because of star power, because they have a terrible job building their stars. So, but that first run, as far as kind of mystique and star power, that was still there. But then the Taker match, which was an absolute debacle. He tried to come back, and make things right against Dolph Ziggler, which wasn't too bad, because Ziggler does a really good job knowing how to put people over. And plus it was like Goldberg trying to get his stuff back. That wasn't terrible because it was more of a special attraction at a SummerSlam, and he won, and it was short. So I didn't mind that. But then you get the Drew McIntyre deal. He just comes in and just gets title matches. And then you get the beating, and before that, he beats Bray Wyatt in Saudi. He beats The Fiend. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, why are you doing this? To set up against Roman Reigns. And then Roman Reigns was out because of COVID for WrestleMania. So he loses against Braun Strowman. He doesn't come back. Then he comes back. And then he goes, and all of a sudden he tries to go for a title again. Doesn't have to do anything. He just comes in and say, you're next. And then that leads to losing against Drew. And then he lost against Lashley. Then he beats Lashley in Saudi. Then he comes back for Reigns, and he loses against Reigns. It's like back, I think he's 7, if I'm not mistaken, he's 7-5 since he's came back in 2016. So in 6 years, he's in 5 years and 4 months, basically. I think he came back around October of 2016. So a little less than 5.5 years. He's wrestled 12 matches. So that's about 2 to 3 matches a year on average. And he's lost 5 out of 12 matches. So for going 173 without losing a match to losing 5 out of 12 matches in roughly 5.5 year span. Why? You know what I mean? It really didn't help him at the end of the day. Not so much. James, I wish we would WWE would go back to doing the gimmick battle royal at Mania like they did in Mania 17. Sadly, there's not many legends left to have that kind of match. Would you like to see that match happen, or would you have it in the match? I like the gimmick battle royal. I'm old school, man. I like to see that. As far as Legends Battle Royal, I wouldn't have it every year. I would make an attraction every, I don't know, few years, maybe 7 to 5 to 7, 8 years. As far as legends I would put in now, I would put in like a Sid. He can still go. The gimmick battle royal at Mania 17 was just way too gimmicky. It was just a lot of people who couldn't even move, really. I mean, the Iron Sheik won it, if I'm not mistaken, and he could barely walk. I think Jim Cornette was in it. I think the Gobbledygooker was in it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just Mania 17 is deemed by many as the greatest WrestleMania of all time, and I would say so as well. It's interesting because there's a lot, there's a blip in really everything that calls itself perfection. In many cases, or many things that you see heralded as super positive or super awesome, there's a little blip in it in some form, unless your name is Jesus. And the blip, the little footnote in the amazing WrestleMania 17 was that gimmick battle royal. It was funny, but it was bad. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So I wouldn't make it as bad as it was in 17. I would actually put some talent in there, like 10 people that still have gimmicks. Steamboat can still go. But it's more gimmicky though. So Steamboat come out as a dragon. Psycho Sid is a gimmick. Bring in Terry Taylor as the Red Rooster, although I think he still may be working for TNA, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but a lot of people don't know that as far as like what his backstage stuff is. So give him a call, bring him back as the Red Rooster, Dan Spivey, bring him back as Waylon Mercy. Steve Keirn as Skinner. You know what I mean? The Repo Man, bring him back. Demolition Smash. There's enough people for like 10 people. You know what I mean? So Coco Beware. There you go. That's another one. Lonzo, Cody does return to WWE. How would you book him in? What show would you be on? Heel or face? Who could you face him in? All right. Yeah, so I just said that as far as gimmick. Him winning the men's battle royal, facing Roman Reigns on the next SmackDown. Robert, I thought I heard rumors, but not sure The Rock will be at WrestleMania. Any thoughts? I don't see where. If he does, maybe it's a tease, something with Reigns. Because there is some thoughts of him and Reigns for next year. Next for the Miz after Mania. He'll probably go back into mid-card level. If I wouldn't be surprised if they do him and Priest. I'd be actually fine with Finn Balor beating Priest. Somehow they gimmick it up and Priest maybe turn heel, against Balor next week. Balor beats Priest at WrestleMania for the U.S. Championship. And Miz and Balor post WrestleMania. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Tap Out Talk is in the building. What's up? What's up? Hashtag Ask Doc. Overall thoughts and opinions on the Elimination Chamber. Just share that. Can't stay alone dealing with a hurt ankle and stupid cold weather. Got my lower back acting up. Just wanted Pop to say, all right, thank you, Dion. Appreciate you always supporting the show, man. Always. I understand. As me having a terrible back, I totally understand. AJ Styles resigning. Yeah, WWE's his home. I just, I'm kudos to AJ Styles, man. He's like, look, I'm not trying to be some of today's pop and then yesterday's news. So I'm just not. I'm not willing to do that. I don't want to be today's headline and yesterday's news. All right. There's a bunch of people who Tony Khan brings in. Ooh, the forbidden door. You're scared of the claw. The claw's going to get you. You're afraid of the claw. Forbidden door. And then, who's out in the impact zone? That's essentially what happens. And so all these pops, all these bringing in people for pop. That's gonna dry out really fast. And kudos to AJ, man. He's like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm gonna re-sign with WWE. And when you think about it, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn too. You gotta give them props too. Kevin Owens has a huge, potentially huge match. Someone coming out of retirement after nearly 2 decades. Owens is going to have that spot at WrestleMania. That's major. As much as I'm not a big fan of it, I mean, Kevin Owens makes sense for him to mark out from it. Makes perfect sense. And then Sami Zayn just won the Intercontinental Championship. So, hey, works for them. I mean, I imagine, again, if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were to leave WWE, they would be today's headline pop rating, or not even pop rating, but pop response or pop reaction from the crowd. And then they'll be yesterday's news. They'll go in, they'll be like, and then they'll flow right into the AEW sea of former pop names. Sea of former poppers, you know what I mean? Now, granted, I mean, there's the static condition of some of them, are still decent, like a Daniel Bryan, but there's just so many that it's like, yeah, okay, we're not going to, like Christian, for instance, what I mean? He's managing Jurassic Express, which I think is a good spot for him, but you brought him in as a pop. And now he's managing Jurassic Express, Which, again, I'm not opposed to Christian managing Jurassic Express. I think if you have anything, like, for instance, because of all these people getting all these pops, it's really hard to just maintain everybody on the same level, pop level, Christian, at least he's getting something out of being a recipient of popping today. And yeah, I mean, it's, at least he's more of a player coach nowadays, which I think he should be. It's a good spot to put Christian. He's pushing 50 years old. So I'm a fan of it. But I mean, Big Show pop, he wanted to wrestle more, but he's not. Mark Henry pop, well, let me bring him out. Let me bring out the Big Show. Let me bring out Christian. Let me bring out Andrade El Idolo, or, and now Andrade's, let me bring out Matt Hardy with Delete. And now Matt Hardy's with Andrade as the AHFO. Okay. CM Punk pop. Lost 400,000 viewers, and now he's feuded with MJF, which is cool, which is helping him. But for a while, he was just kind of lost in the shuffle. So Sting and Darby Allin's cool, but Sting got a pop, and now he's with Darby, which is decent, decent. But yeah. Saturday is Aaron's birthday. Happy birthday, Aaron. Happy birthday. Why did Brock Lesnar lose the WWE title Royal Rumble just to win it back in Elimination Chamber? He didn't need to win the Rumble to face Roman at Mania. Exactly. He didn't need to win the Royal Rumble. He could have won an Elimination Chamber. And if you first of all, he didn't. I'm just not a big fan of title versus title, anyways, because you're just doing. It's just why though. This is the third WrestleMania that we will see a Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns match for one, and for two, if you do title versus title, okay, Roman Reigns wins. He has both championships for a while. You don't want to oversaturate him by putting him on both shows every single week. That takes away the mystique of Roman Reigns. We don't see him all the time. And then eventually someone would have to break the streak. And I would say him lose the WWE Championship quicker. Maybe this is a way for them to have him have a longer WWE Universal Championship streak without feeling stale. He can defend the WWE Championship and lose to someone, and then maintain the Universal Championship and go against The Rock next year for it, which I think he'd be The Rock. He beat The Rock too. The Rock's not going to win the Universal Championship. It's just convoluted. It just seems like they're really kind of booking on the fly, and you can just tell. You can just tell by the product. It's booking on the fly. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. I don't understand why you do title versus title. I think that's a stupid idea. Really, Brock versus Roman. I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not a fan of that anyways. I'm just not a fan. We've seen it too much. Brock needs to be he needs to be in a really big feud and actually developing a star. It's hard to take away from babyface Brock nowadays. It's cool. This is one of his best runs. Babyface Brock is very lovable. He's funny. He's hilarious. But at the end of the day, he's still taking away he's still taking away a top babyface spot. He's still taking away a top babyface spot. No matter how you slice it, he's still taking away a top babyface slot that should be given to someone else. Because Brock's going to leave his run. He's going to go back to Saskatchewan. He's going to be gone for months, and he's going to come back. Meanwhile, you could have been forming a babyface to head up Raw. But drop the ball on that. Drop the ball. Do I think Caddy Catanzaro should be in W2K22? No. Becky versus Bianca. I can see them headlining. I can see Charlotte versus Ronda being the opener for night 2. But I can see Becky and Bianca headlining. Sunday is Dion's birthday. Nice. I did see the fights. If you're talking about Wisconsin versus Michigan, The Juwan Howard fight. Yes, I did see that. He's suspended for the rest of the year, which I can't stand Michigan. I'm an Ohio State fan, as you know. Well, I'm a Duke basketball fan, actually. But I'm an Ohio guy regardless. So Duke is my team, but I'm also still a supporter of Ohio State regardless. And Michigan is duly disliked for me because I'm an Ohio guy through and through. So they're naturally Ohio State's rivals. But they were Duke's rivals when I started to really like Duke basketball back in the early 90s. So the Fab Five, and Juwan Howard's a part of the Fab Five. So, yeah. And now he's back, from Fab Five to a Michigan coach. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And we'll say that. But at the same time, hey, Michigan. Hope he recovers from that from a professional standpoint. I hope he recovers, but got to keep your feelings in check, man. You got mad because the coach called a timeout. Come on. You're an adult here. Come on. Yeah, no point in bringing it back. None. 0. Elvis thinks I should be in the Podcast Hall of Fame. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Rock's talking with NFL since he owns XFL. I mean, so be it. He does what he wants because he's the Rock. I mean, maybe, and they have a next in line type of deal with the NFL. They have like a developmental thing. I forgot what their developmental because I think what's your face went to it. JT Barrett. I think he went to that developmental kind of like he is in the he plays the Canadian Football League now. Interesting. Yeah, the Spring League. Yeah, the Spring League is the developmental league of the football of the NFL, I believe. Yeah, so it's the more than 100 former players have signed contracts with the NFL team. So he was doing that for a while, but now he's playing with the Canadian Football League as of last month. Very nice. So, yeah. So maybe there's the Spring League affiliation, bringing people to the XFL, but hey, business is business, man. I ain't mad at them. Oh, you watched that? Yeah. Am I going to Mania this year? Still in the works. Not sure. I'm not sure, but it's still in the works. Possibly. We'll see. Possibly. I might be doing some media there. I do think we will see a hologram. Weather. Were you in Colorado, Elvis? The weather here, it was raining and 61 degrees today. Well, Tuesday. It was sunny and about 59, 60 on Monday. Sunday was really nice. Sunday was really nice. Monday was it was 60, low 60s, but it was raining. So it was like dreary, like I want to sleep all day weather. So it wasn't the best as far as being out. I love that type of weather being in, but I was at work. providing therapy. Today is supposed to be, the rest of the week is supposed to be cold, though. It's supposed to be around freezing temperature, a little bit under to a little bit over, like in the low 30s, low to mid 30s. So for the next few days, it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to stay cold. It goes back up. Let's see, because right now it's currently 52 degrees right now, but the weather's supposed to drop, unfortunately. So 35 for today, 39 for Thursday, 32 for Friday. Yeah, so 41 on Saturday. So that's going to be the best day of the week, weather-wise, 41, which isn't bad. I mean, it's still considered winter. 40 Sunday and 41 on Sunday. I'm game for it. I'm game. We only got a few weeks more of that weather. Hasn't really been a bad winter here in Ohio, actually. A couple snowstorms, but hey, Ohio is one of those states who experience all 4 seasons. And so I really can't complain about this winter. I stayed home a couple of days a few weeks ago and did therapy because of a snowstorm. Hey, it's Ohio. Okay. Ohio has snow. I think we only had 2 big storms, all winter. So can't complain about that. Do I see night 1 to night 2 carryover? Example, say Knoxville wins night 1, puts the title on line. No, I don't see it carryover. I don't see a carryover. Have Ronda win at Mania? Nah. I did go to the hospital, yes. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you. I heard about Trish Stratus. Yeah. Yeah, it's house shows. I mean, I don't know if it's something in Toronto or something like that. If it's in Toronto, advertising of the house show. Although I don't know if they can cross the Canadian border yet because of COVID. So I'm not sure where the house shows are, though. But yeah, something to pop a rating, I guess. What's up, Jesus? Love your thoughts on Cody versus Roman after Mania. Thank you. Do you think Punk might win the AEW Championship or TNT title this year? I don't, actually. I don't think the world title, maybe the TNT title. But the world title, no, I don't. I think he'll be used to rack up some wins and then, have some decent feuds. Maybe win a few feuds, maybe put over a couple of people. We'll see. Thank you, Chad, for checking on me. MAC must have low ticket sales since the reason for promo last night. Yeah, it definitely seems like that's the case. Why do you think they had Brock take the title of Kofi, Big E, and Bobby Lashley? Do you think Vince saw them as transitional champions? Yeah, I do think they saw them as transitional champions, all of them. Although I think out of that group, Bobby Lashley has more than proved that he is a legit world champion contender. He's a world champion player, legit, 100%. Kofi had the title for 6 months, though. We can't. Here's the thing. I don't like the 8-second win that Brock did, but at the end of the day, we do have to realize that Kofi had a title for 6 months. I mean, that's a long title reign nowadays. Having a title for 6 months is a big deal. So, wasn't a fan of how he lost it, but a 6-month reign is a big deal. So, that's pretty cool. They didn't just strike while the iron's hot at WrestleMania with Kofi Mania. They actually kept the belt on him for a while. I mean, he beat some notable people. So, yeah, I mean, really can't complain about that. Big E's run, though, lousy. Super lousy. Because, I mean, I say this all the time, at least in Raw. It's because how they booked him. They had him at the beginning of Raw. Like the first week he lost, in a tag match, and then they did like a New Day versus Reigns and Usos match for SummerSlam, and he lost that. And then he lost the match for Survivor Series. He lost that match. Then he lost the match at Survivor Series. That's why I can't stand Survivor Series champion versus champion. It did nothing for Big E. Zero. It hurt him way more than it helped him. I cannot stand the Survivor Series format now. I'm a huge traditionalist when it comes to wrestling. I wish they kept the Survivor Series, but I'm willing for them to. I would rather for them to ditch the whole Survivor Series than to have this bragging rights 2.0 format. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. But yeah, I mean, they put all their stock in Brock, so he defeats them. Unfortunately. All right, y'all, a few more. Robert's not new. Try to keep up when you do your live feed. I'm sending praise. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Very, 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 very much. Very much appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Ricky is fanboying on Roman Reigns as always. Get help, man. You know I'm a therapist. A little bit too much on the fanboyness. Balor versus Priest should have been saved for Mania. I think you do a Priest heel turn, though. Just a random face versus face right now, and the heels and Priest is losing a whole lot of support. Make a story out of it. Also, but win tomorrow, Pac and Zero Mero against the House of Black. I think the House of Black wins, although I like Pac and Penta. Wrestling is missing storytelling. Yes, it is. Yes, they are. 100%. 100%. 100%. Booking on the fly. That means not having stories set, not having a direction when it comes to storytelling. They're just booking on the fly. Raw just feels like they're just booked every week. Remind me of what they did with to Darby Allin last week. I watched a little bit of Rampage, and I watched all of Dynamite, I think. I did. I don't remember exactly what was on Dynamite. I do remember Jericho and Hager losing to Santino and Ortiz. I don't remember anything else. Ron Simmons owns. Yes, I haven't, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I think I might even watch a little bit here in a moment. Starting quarterback for Tennessee Titans. I think it'll be Ryan Tannehill, but Keith, I don't think Ryan's a Super Bowl quarterback. Good, but not great. Nowhere near great. Hate crime and murder of all Ahmaud Arbery. I think there's some legitimacy to it. It's a very controversial topic, but it's I think justice was served. Did you get the storm over there? No. I think it's supposed to snow on Thursday and Friday, though. So I don't know if we're going to get storm level stuff, but I think Thursday and Friday is supposed to snow. Paxton Lynch. I don't even know who that is. Who's Paxton Lynch? Let's see. Quarterback from the Broncos. He was from Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Okay, got it. So, okay. So he gets cut by the CFL. Yeah. Okay. Got it. I prefer in the middle, actually. Fall is my favorite season. Spring is up there as well. I prefer around 60s. 60s. I did not drive to the hospital. My wife took me. Malty's in the building. What's up, my man? Love spring weather. Love fall weather. Spring and fall are basically the same types of weather, but fall, I'm a big fall guy because I love college football. I love it. I love college football. Allen with Brock defeating Kofi, Big E, and Lashley. Do I see a black fashion symbol? No, I don't. Nah. Nope. Nope. Don't see it. Good question, Malty. I think Kansas City has a chance of winning next year. Cincinnati does not go back to the Super Bowl if they allow over 50 sacks for the year like they did. The offensive line was atrocious. Joe Burrow is legit. He was legit in Ohio State, but he got, outmanned. He got outranked. He made a really good move by going to LSU. He won the national championship with them, which gave him a top draft pick to Cincinnati. Excellent move by Joe Burrow, and he's continuing to show how good of a quarterback he is. I'd take him in Tennessee any day of the week, but Cincinnati's offensive line needs like a divine intervention. They're horrible. I'm super surprised that he was able to squeeze by Tennessee. Very costly 2-point conversion, very costly interception by Ryan Tannehill at the end, very costly 10-yard pickup at the very end. Just costly. Defense was good, but they weren't able to, manage that last little run by the Bengals, and Evan McPherson sealed the deal. Yeah. But squeezing by like that, I don't see Bengals doing it again. Kansas City has a chance. St. Louis has a chance. St. Louis is good. They're so good they won the Super Bowl. I think they will have a chance of. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Kansas City and St. Louis in the Super Bowl next year. St. Louis is legit. Yeah. Titans is good. We just need another quarterback, man. Our defense is stout. We've got Derrick Henry. We've got Deontay Foreman. We have AJ Brown. We have the pieces, but I'm just not sold on Tannehill, man. Chris thinks the offensive line will get better in the offseason. I hope so, man. Who from NXT would you like to see come to Raw, perhaps after Mania? Raw, SmackDown, perhaps after Mania. I don't know, man. Tommaso Ciampa just didn't really cut it for me on Raw. He just seems like he's just an NXT guy, which I don't blame him for, because he won't be utilized properly on the main roster at all. So, if I'd say one person, I'd go LA Knight. LA Knight kind of feels odd in NXT nowadays. Do I play that guitar? I took lessons. I don't know how to play the guitar thoroughly. I took lessons about 10 years ago. And I'm planning on I plan on taking some lessons this year. Arizona Cardinals. Did I say St. Louis? Yeah, well, Rams are Los Angeles. Yeah. And Arizona Cardinals is St. Louis Cardinals is baseball. Arizona Cardinals is football. And it used to be St. Louis Rams, but now it's the Los Angeles Rams. All right, PNP Nation, I'm going to head out, y'all. Fun as always. This hour just went by. Just like that. As always. Because the PNP Nation is the coolest. Is the coolest. You guys are awesome. All right. I'm out of here. I'm gonna give me some relaxation. I'm gonna rest my achy body. All right. So prayers welcomed. Thank you very much. I'm gonna rest my achy body and just relax. Until then, till next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.